Hi, my name is UkesterBrown, and I just want to make a couple comments on a video that Ken Middleton made a couple months ago, I think. He was reviewing an Ohana sopranino, and he made a mention in there on intonation. He warned the guitar players not to push too hard on the strings, or you can cause them to go out of tune just by pushing too hard. I had never thought of that. Me not being a guitar player, I never really thought about finger pressure when you're chording, changing the tone. Maybe all of you know this. I didn't. Anyway, so I thought I would give you a demonstration of something that I discovered. A few months ago I bought a couple different ukuleles, mainly because the one that I bought, this is the first one I bought. It's a Bear & Son from Canada. That's where I bought it from on eBay. It looked like a twin sister by Josephine. It had a rosette, it's bound, it has the herringbone up the fretboard, and so that's why I bought it. It looked like a little sister. And then a couple months later, the guy who sold it to me contacted me again and said, I found another one just like it, would you like it? He wanted me to have it, so I bought it from him, and in a couple weeks then I had another one, which is a step down. It doesn't have as much binding and that kind of thing, but it's in pristine condition, beautiful mahogany. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is these two ukes are pretty identical. I think they were made by Supertone. Comparing them to the old Supertone I have, the backs arched the same. They look like they came out of the same mold, other than the headstock being shaped a little different. But one thing I want to demonstrate here is when Ken was talking about intonation on pushing the strings down, I want to show you on these ukes, and these are kind of a basic standard scale. Here's an example of a C diminished. Now listen to it when I push down all the way to the fingerboard. Hopefully you can hear how it goes sharp. Here's just a C chord. Here's the C note. And so that's what I was discovering, was when I was playing it, I didn't like the intonation. Well, come to find out after watching Ken's video, the reason why I didn't like the intonation was because I was pushing too hard on the strings. I was being heavy-handed on the fretboard, and all I need to do is push till the string gets resistance against the fret. Now in some of these older ukes it's kind of hard because the frets may sit a little bit higher above the fingerboard, and we're used to pushing that far. But on a small uke you're dealing with a smaller scale, and so just that little bit, it's like when you're bending a note. That's what you're doing when you're pushing down harder. You're bending that note. So you only need to go to the point of the fulcrum on the fretboard until you maintain enough contact where it's not going to buzz or anything. And so that's helped me a lot on these older ukes to realize that. Another thing he mentioned is he felt that older ukes should be tuned up to the, or not just older ones, but the shorter scaled ones. And I found that to be true on these older ones. When they were built, A, D, F sharp, B was the common or standard tuning for them. And so this one, the first one that I bought from the fellow in Canada, this has ukulele strings. The other one has Kolo gold. I put those on mainly because this one, when I got it, had original gut strings still on it. I like the aesthetic of that gold string against the color of the wood, and so I bought Kolo gold, and it looks nice. It sounds pretty good too. The Kolo golds are pre-stretched, and they go on nice. So this might have a little bit different tone because of the ukulele, but now I tuned this one up to A, D, F sharp, B, and let me just make sure it's okay, it's right on. Now here's my what would be my C note in a C shape on a GCEA. You can still hear the note flex a little bit, but it's much less because the tension on the string is holding it there. Plus, when you hear the uke, you're going to hear much more vibration, not vibration, you're going to hear much more tone in my mind, because the uke was made to be under this frequency, I suppose. Here's that same kind of a riff, GCEA. think the intonation's quite there because I just don't think the uke is happy. There's a C in the second position. Well, what would be a C in GCEA tuning? It just seems crisp and bright. Now this is different tuning, so bear that in mind. It just seems to be missing something. Now here's my Josephine. I think it's resonation to its fullest potential anyway, and so bear that in mind. Shorter scales do need to be tuned up a little bit, I think, and be really wary that when you're pushing too hard on a high fretted instrument like this, you're doing nothing different than bending the note like you would in a jazz. So if you're pushing too hard, you could be bending all four notes. It's really true, and you can measure it using your digital tuner. It's quite amazing to see how the note changes shape. Thanks, Ken, for your insight on that. It made me grab these old ukes again and play them some more because it wasn't the uke that was sounding bad, it was my technique.